What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Gambit's new uniform. We have his Excalibur look here. Looking pretty good. I'm definitely a big fan of Gambit. I remember really liking him in the cartoon when I was growing up, so, you know, he has a bit of a soft spot for me. So that's why I decided to get the uniform, and also he is going to be my next awakened character, so I'm working on transcending his potential right now. I'm just a little bit short on some of the materials, so that's why I haven't quite been able to realize his potential, or transcend his potential. Sorry, I've realized his potential a while ago. Yeah, I haven't been able to transcend his potential quite yet, so we're just going to be showing him off at level 70 today. With he does have, of course, his awakening skill, but I don't have the extra stats, so I can't take him in against Null quite yet. I'm curious to see how he's going to do against Null, so as soon as I can, I'm going to be bringing him in there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the uniform here and see what changes happen for him. So we have, when using Royal Flush, we get a 15% heal, which is actually pretty nice. It helps out his survivability. He is very squishy still, so you can still get one-shotted pretty easily, but this heal does help offset some of the damage that he takes if he survives the damage. Pretty similar to Sharon Roger, how she has that little heal now on her 5th skill. I believe it's also 15%, or maybe it's only a 10%. But either way, this little heal really does help quite a bit on playing like these DPS or kind of like squishy characters. So I'm happy that they added that. They could have added maybe a little bit more to the uniform bonus, but the heal is nice. So we have the first skill here now is a chance to counterattack when hit. So I don't know how I feel about that. It's not an iframe. He does attack, so it's not like he's sitting there waiting to be hit by the enemy to do the attack. He is going to be like swinging his staff, and then if the enemy hits you, it'll trigger it. So it is better, I think, than some of the other counterattacks that we have, except that he doesn't get, as you can see here, like guard hit, immunity, or anything like that. So you will pretty much die if you take a hit. So that's the only annoying part. The second skill here, we have Fracture and Paralyze. Third skill, we actually have a attack increase here, so 30% all attacks. That is new for him. He didn't have a buff on his third skill before. And then we also have a guard hit, so we could take advantage of that to hopefully keep him alive a little bit longer as well. And then the 5th skill, I don't think there was any noticeable changes for this one, so I'm not really sure why it's added on the change. I think they changed the animation, but that's probably it, because we had the 25% all attack, we had the 1 speed, we had 25% crit, we have the penetration. Why does it only say 10% chance? I thought it was higher than a 10% chance to penetrate. Anyway, it's still the minus 60% all defense down. It's minus 30. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it wasn't minus 30 before. If we go, we can actually look really quickly, just equip the uniform here, because I have forgotten why is the 5th skill different. 25%. Oh, it's 10% all speed here, so we're losing 9% speed. Okay, interesting. Crit rate is 25%. Oh, it's only a 5% chance. Why is this chance so low to penetrate? It should be higher than that. And it is 30 and 60. So what were we gaining in then? Should have looked at this earlier, but I've already forgotten. Alright, so we're getting the stun, fear, incapacitation, and paralyze. Okay, so there's quite a few things we're getting. The paralysis ignores immunity, so that's good. Yeah, so a bit of an upgrade there for his 5th skill, but nothing too crazy. Nothing has changed for that and that. So let's go ahead and hop into the skill preview and see what the new skill animations actually look like for this uniform. So we have the first skill here. As you can see, he's swinging his staff around. We have some cards flying like we expect from Gambit here. And then if we turn on the AI, we can do this. And where's our counterattack? I think it's just, yeah, it's just shooting out more cards to the side when you, yeah, it shoots out more cards. That's what it was. It like builds up so as you go. So if we turn this off, you should see less cards, right? I don't even remember what the counterattack is. I thought I had seen something before, but it just has a chance to counterattack, so maybe that chance hasn't triggered. I thought it did a different animation. I guess I was mistaken. It doesn't look like it's changing anything for the counterattack. Unless it's like a super, super low chance. Anyway, I thought it added more cards or more hits to the skill, but I'm not noticing that now that I'm looking at it again. All right, so let's move on to the second skill. So the second skill, he just spins around with his staff here, and then he goes into an iframe for the second half of the skill. So again, not really going to be something you're going to use here because that iframe, it comes a little bit too late to help you out. The third skill throws 2 cards up there, and then he kind of crushes them together on the enemy, which is actually pretty cool. And then the fourth skill spins around with some cards, lands, and then goes out of the iframe though, so that's the only annoying part here. But I still like to use this fourth skill actually after the fifth skill because you do have the guard hit from the third skill, so it does keep him relatively safe, except if you get bled. So if you're fighting Cole and he gets one of those nasty bleeds on you, then of course I can take away your health pretty quickly. The fifth skill, relatively the same, just throwing the cards around. It just got like different kind of animations or particle effects to the skill, and then we have that explosion at the end. So those are the minor changes to the skill. You can still move around while using it, which is fantastic. So that's why I think Gambit is actually going to be really good against Null, because he has a short skill animation here with a lot of burst damage, and you can move around to get out of the way of attacks, or if Null is like swinging at you, you can kind of back up and hopefully get out of range so you don't get like guard broken or anything like that. So yeah, overall it looks like a very strong attack for Null at least. And of course you're in full iframe, so it's really good for Warboss Ultimate, but I just mean in particular for the Null fight. And then the Awakening skill, we can take a look at that. So we have Nightcrawler and X23 popping in here. They're slashing and teleporting all over the place, and Gambit is raining down cards. But if you did notice, well, actually I haven't shown the Awakening skill yet, have I? The Awakening skill does not have any all defense down. So to take a look here at the Awakening skill, you just have a crit rate, crit damage, ignore dodge, invincibility, remove debuffs, and then increase attack by 35% for 1 attack. We have all attack and all defense, but yeah, nowhere does it say all defense down. So his Awakening skill isn't really going to be good for like a one-shot skill or anything like that. It's pretty much just going to be combined with his fifth skill, because you can instant cancel it and still get X23 and Nightcrawler to appear, and they will still do some damage, so you get a little bit of extra damage that way. So the skill rotation that I like to use for this new uniform is going to be 3, 6, 5, and as you can see, X23 and Nightcrawler are swinging around in there, and we get all of the all defense done from the fifth skill to build that up so that we can take advantage of all of that AoE and extra hits that we have going on there. So still a very good candidate for ACTP of energy. He is damage proc friendly. I haven't really had my damage proc trigger early almost at all, I think, since testing this uniform, so that hasn't been that big of a deal. And then if we don't have our Awakening skill, I just do 3 and then go right into 5 right here, and that's pretty much the rotation. I usually like to throw in, like I said, 4 at the end there, and I think using something buffs the fourth skill, because I believe it looks different after. Maybe it doesn't. But anyway, so I do that, I let the 5 go, and then at the end of it, I hop into the fourth skill like that. And again, you are not protected for that last little bit of the fourth skill, but you do have the guard hit from the third skill, so I've found it's not that big of a deal to use the fourth skill, and then I just kind of run away, wait for my skills to come back, and repeat the process. So very similar to the regular or base Gambit in terms of his playstyle. You're pretty much just relying on the fifth skill. That's going to be your damage source. That's what you're kind of stalling to have come off a cooldown, to just keep rotating the fifth skill. The damage is better, of course, because we have the Awakening skill that we take advantage of. We have the buff from the third skill. We can combine it with the third skill to get a little more damage. So he does have more damage that way, but it's nothing significantly higher to make it so he can do, like, say, a stage 99 Cole or something like that. At least I haven't found an easy way to do that. You can do, of course, your switch with Weapon Hex. So you can have Weapon Hex, use our fourth skill, then you can switch over to Gambit and then do 3-5, and you can get some pretty nice damage that way. But I haven't found a real striking pattern that works, like having X23 as a striker, because you're canceling too quickly into the fifth skill. So if you have a damage proc, you don't really have any way of lining that up, because you've got to delay that, wait for Weapon Hex to strike, and get that all defense down to trigger. But you cancel too early, so you apply your all defense down too early, so you have to wait. Your damage proc will go off beforehand because you hit the co-op skill. So if you have a CTP of Rage, then it'll probably work, but right now. I don't think there's a way for the regular damage proc. And all I have on him is a 180 proc. All the other stats don't really matter. The ignore defense and the poison damage. This is just what I've had on him for the longest time. I've been capped on my ignore defense for the longest time, so I don't even need this. And the poison damage, of course, doesn't help Gambit. So all we're doing is the 180 proc. For the uniform, we can see what options I actually have available to me, but I haven't been able to unlock the entire thing because I didn't have very many Gambit bios because he is a paywall character, and this is just what I had left over, I guess, from way back when I first unlocked him. So we have Kamala Khan for Inhumans Talen Rising, and then we have Rogue Uncanny Avengers, we have Spider-Man 2099, all new, all different. And the last one that I can see is going to be Domino's Marvel Now. So I don't know what the final mythic slot is for Gambit, but those are the ones that I have. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of gameplay and just show off Gambit briefly and just some World Boss Ultimate because I can't quite take him in against Null yet. We're very close. We just need all of these materials. Well, I guess we're not pretty close. We're pretty much at nothing for our gems here. So hopefully I'll be able to build those up though and get him ranked up pretty soon here. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into a little bit of gameplay and just see what Gambit can do with this new uniform. Alright, so here we are at Cold Obsidian. We have a stage 70, and that's about as high as my Gambit can go for me right now with the current stats that I have for him. We have Doc Voodoo lead to get the most out of all defense down. I believe that makes him stack up to minus 84% all defense down. And we have Dazzler there because Gambit is a mutant and she is the best mutant support. So why not take advantage of her? So let's see what we can do with Gambit. Alright, so we'll switch on over. Do 3 awakening and then 5, and then we'll start getting our damage right here. It's okay. I thought I saw more damage testing my few test runs. Let's see what else we get here. There we go. That was more damage. Why do we do less damage the first time? Because he should build up his all defense down right away, and now he's cleansing. All right, good job, Cole. Perfect timing. You're gonna cleanse right when I'm trying to do some damage to you, eh? All right, here we go. Alright, do the 4th skill, just pop in there. And now we can do the awakening skill, hopefully get a little more damage this time. There we go, that looks a little bit better. The first awakening skill just didn't hit very hard for some reason. But yeah, as you can see, the damage is still quite nice with Gambit here. I really like being able to move around with the 5th skill. I love the characters that can do that, so probably be playing Gambit a little bit more here because I am a fan of Gambit, so it'd be fun to use him a little bit more since I haven't used him in quite a while. I still find that it's just safer to do the 3-5, even though you can throw in that 4, but like I said, if you get bled, that's the only thing that'll really mess with you. Alright, let's do a little more damage here. Very nice. So yeah, you can see you can clear this quite easily, but once you start going up higher than like 70, so once you get into like 80 and above, you really need to have like 96 or 94% or more all defense down. It's just not really cutting it to be in like the 80s. You need to be in the high 90s to just that 100% to really make a dent in the world bosses when you get into the 80s and 90s. For the most part, there's some exceptions, but very rarely do they not rely on really high all defense down to that degree. So yeah, that is going to be, well, if I had Rage, of course I could go a lot higher, but we're just using 180 proc too, so keep that in mind for my current build on my Gambit here. But overall, the uniform is quite nice. I really like Gambit as a character, so that's probably why I'm maybe a little more hyped up for this uniform than I could be, because uniform isn't a huge upgrade from this base kit in terms of how much farther it'll make him push in like War Boss Ultimate and stuff like that. And that's mainly just limited to the fact that he's capping out at 60% here for the all defense down. If this had changed or bumped up to even just 65% or 70%, it would be a whole different story. But as it sits, he's not really going to take over the spot, I don't think, of anyone else. Maybe his burst damage will be like crazy in Alliance Battle Extreme. I don't know. Maybe he'll be absolutely insane for Null, actually. That could be a possibility. See what kind of raw damage we can dish out with him. But yeah, I'll find that out hopefully pretty soon. Like I said, once we transcend him, I've got 3 days to wait until the turnover to the next squad battle rotation, and then I think I can get it in that one rotation depending on where I place. Anyway, that's going to be my initial impressions here for Gambit's Excalibur uniform. Let me know what you think of the uniform, if you've done some more testing with him, if you have transcended his potential and maybe tried him out in null, or just getting that stat bump. If that makes a significant difference, let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.